A couple of years ago, I began the formidable but rewarding journey of watching the entire Marvel series, which consists of 11 TV shows and 24 movies. I laughed and almost cried. There were times when I watched more than 10 episodes in a day, and times when I left the show behind for weeks on end, watching Tony and his companions grow up, and I grew up with them. I moved in, adopted my dog, started a new job, moved to a different city, said goodbye to old friends, and made some new ones. All the while, there was always another episode to watch. Until I watched them all. As anyone who has fallen in love with a story knows, feelings of hopelessness and emptiness are normal after finishing a deeply engaging show or book. This experience is called post-series depression, and Urban Dictionary defines it well. It is the sadness felt after reading or watching a really long series or story. The bitter feeling when you know the journey is over, but you don't want it to end. It's the longing for the words on the pages to move for you, like they did the first time you read them, when you didn't know what the next paragraph held and the world in which the characters found themselves was entirely without limit. Finishing the story then is almost like going through a breakup. When we get involved in a great story, be it a book, movie, or TV show, we lose ourselves in the fantasy, romance, drama, and action. Over time, we can develop an intimate relationship with these characters as we follow them on their exploits, share inside jokes, and eavesdrop on their thought processes and emotional development. Even more so, we project parts of our personality onto these beloved characters, begin to identify with them, and share in their trials and triumphs. While following their story, we get to live in an idealized world, full of wonder, danger, and mystery. So when we end the stories, we have to say goodbye to these people we've come to love and seemingly end deeply cherished relationships. It's very similar to mourning the loss of a close friend. In some ways, it feels like we're also accepting that our adventure must stop. Moreover, the fantastic nature of fictional stories in particular can leave real life feeling boring and bleak. Normal life doesn't make for amazing storylines. Flossing your teeth, taking out the garbage, making sure homework gets done, or meeting one more work deadline aren't the things that capture our imagination or curiosity. So when these intricately dramatic stories that you've relished come to an end, you may have to grieve. Not unlike with a death, not only the death of the story, but part of yourself as well. The feelings of emptiness and depression after engaging with something so absorbing are because a part of you died when that experience ended. In order to have enjoyed it so much, you put yourself into it and become part of it. That's what made it so entrancing. You opened yourself up to all the richness of emotions. You were fed in a way that satisfied, but not just by giving you the good stuff. It was deep stuff that touched all emotions and vulnerabilities, safely without destroying you. However, when it was over, it took that part of you with it. You ceded that part of you to the experience, and now it's been taken, used up, and spent. No matter how good the experience, reality now feels empty, and you may react with grief, depression, and purposelessness. It's a tribute to the experience that it gave you so much without actually putting you through the rigors of the hero-anti-hero life. You borrowed their life, and now you have to return it. How am I supposed to be me, happy and real again, jumping back into real life, of course, is the obvious but oftentimes impractical solution. Reminding oneself about the positive qualities of their own life can help combat the obsessive comparison between the story and real life. Actively participating in everyday life, relationships, and responsibilities is also a great way of grounding oneself in reality and social functioning. It's not a bad thing to be a bit sad and feel rudderless. It's important that you hit bottom so that your survival instincts kicks in and searches for something in the real world that you can focus on and feed you in a different way. It's a spur to come out of fantasy in the book, movie, or TV series and create something that can stay with you longer, mostly interpersonal connections with reliable loved ones. What if real life seriously sucks though? What then? People can deal with this sense of loss by telling others about the story. Joining a book club or a fan club of the story or series can also help someone reflect positively on the story while connecting with others and developing new relationships. Doing this can keep the memory and the excitement alive. Of course, there's a fine line of being obnoxious. Just think of some Harry Potter, Star Wars, or Breaking Bad fans. You know the ones I'm talking about. People can also remember that they can revisit these stories whenever they want. However, it may come with diminishing emotional returns. Simply meditating on the story can help too. What can be soothing is to think or journal about how you were changed by that experience. How did you grow? Whether the book or series served as entertainment, learning, or both. Its impact on you is yours to keep. Recognizing this can motivate you to seek other experiences, knowing full well that they will end, but knowing when they do, others will take their place. Reinvesting one's energy and attention into another series can also help some people move on. In fact, people with uninspiring real-life connections might require a regular dose of fantasy to keep their head up. In examining the habits that come with binge watching, it's not hard to see why it would start to impact our mental health. For starters, if you're not doing it with a roommate or partner, binge watching can quickly become isolating. When we disconnect from humans and overconnect to TV at the cost of human connection, eventually we will starve to death emotionally. When we substitute TV for human relations, we disconnect from our human nature and substitute for the virtual. We are wired to connect, and when we disconnect from humans and overconnect to TV at the cost of human connection, real relationships and the work of life is more difficult, but at the end of the day, more enriching, growth-producing, and connecting. If you find yourself choosing a night in with Netflix over seeing friends and family, it's a sign that this habit is headed into harmful territory. So how to binge watch responsibly? The key to reaping the benefits of binge watching without suffering from the negative repercussions is to set parameters for the time you spend with your television, which can be tough to do when you're faced with cliffhangers that might be resolved if you just stay up for one more episode. In addition to pleasure, we often binge watch to obtain psychological closure from the previous episode. However, because each new episode leaves you with more questions, you can engage in healthy binge watching by setting a predetermined end time for the binge. For example, commit to saying, after 3 hours I'm going to stop watching this show for the night. Try identifying a specific numbers of episodes to watch, then watching only the first half of the episode you have designated as your stopping point. Usually, questions from the previous episode will be answered by this halfway mark, and you will have enough psychological closure to feel comfortable turning off the TV. Also, make sure that you're balancing your binge with other activities. After binge watching, go out with friends or do something fun. By creating an additional source of pleasure, you will be less likely to become addicted to or binge watch the show. Increase your physical exercise activity or join an athletic league. By increasing your heart rate and stimulating your body, you can give yourself a more effective and longer-term experience of fun and excitement. So how to cope when your favorite TV show ends? Take a break from TV. Once your favorite show ends, nothing else you watch is going to feel like it fills the void. Considering the sort of time investment that's usually incurred with watching a show, it may be the time to take a break from TV. Do other things, read books, play video games, see friends, focus on hobbies, vent online about it. If you have just finished a show on its first run, there will be a lot of other people in the exact same position as you. A great show ending doesn't feel great, but the empty feeling can be elevated by sharing your thoughts with others. Make a post outlining your opinions on the show wrap-up. Online posts can spark an engaging conversation about what you just saw. Sharing the loss with other people will make it feel better. Make friends with other fans of the show. Fellow fans are a great way to intensify your appreciation for parts of a show. A show's first run comes with the social aspect of being able to discuss it in the morning after an episode airs. The same should be true when the show ends. Write fan fiction based on the show. If you can't bear the thought of your favorite show ending, why not continue writing the show yourself? Pick up where the characters were in the final episode and start their story anew from there. If you're really passionate and knowledgeable about the show, you should have at least some idea of where the characters would go next. If a show's fandom is big enough, it's quite likely that other writers have penned their own fan fictions about the show already. Go to sites like fanfiction and read some work about your favorite characters. If you know people who are also mourning the loss of the show, you should get them together for dinner and drinks. Sit around and discuss your favorite parts of the show. Watch some of your favorite clips. Get into friendly debates over aspects of the series finale. A bit of friendly argument is a great way to get your mind off the loss. You can go around in a circle and reflect on your favorite characters and scenes. After some time, all of the seasons of your favorite show will be available for home purchase. Having a concrete copy of your favorite show at home is great if you watch the show a lot and don't want to rely on a channel for it. Check online to see if your show is available as a free download. Some of the channel's websites will feature old episodes so people can catch up in their own time. Digest the DVD special features. If you went ahead and purchased the show box set on DVD, you'll most likely have special features to dive into. Special features show the behind-the-scenes stuff in a TV show. Things like interviews, on-set documentaries, and marketing spots all help to enrich your knowledge and appreciation of the show. If you look at everything that went into the making of a particular scene, you'll almost certainly have a greater appreciation for it the next time you put it on. Convince new friends to watch it with you. There are few things as satisfying as getting a good friend into a show you're really passionate about. This way, you'll be able to live vicariously through someone's fresh excitement over a show you've grown familiar with. Consider how your opinions on the show have evolved. After you watch a show for the second time, you should think about the ways your opinion has changed towards it. Watching a show a second time means you'll know what happens at the end even on the first episodes. This will frame character arcs and dialogue in a fresh new light, now that you know what the writers were leading up to. Hunt the web for recommendations. Sites like IMDb are perfectly suited for hunting down TV recommendations. There are lists of best ever TV shows that you can use as a reference for finding new shows when you feel you're ready to move on. Recommendations are easy to find online. It shouldn't take long to find few potential prospects that might be worth looking into for your next show. If you had a favorite actor, check to see what his or her other credits are. Check to see what the screenwriter or showrunner has been up to since your favorite show ended. Talk to friends about what they're watching. Friends are a perfect source of recommendation. If you're not sure what you want to watch, it's a good idea to talk to them. See what they've been into lately. If there's a show they think you might be into, ask if there's a show they think you might be into. Friends are a good source of eyes and ears when it comes to new media. There are way too many shows to look into yourself, so getting others to do the legwork for you will save you loads of time. It goes without saying that it's preferable to ask friends who have cultural tastes you agree with or respect. Give a few shows a test run. Once you start a show, there's nothing forcing you to keep up with it. Watch the pilot episodes for a few shows. Give them each a fair chance and move on if you're not finding it grabs you. You may have to go through a few shows before you find one that seems like it'll be truly worth your time. Keep the time investment of a new show in mind. Shows take dozens of hours out of your life. That is valuable time that should only be invested if the show is something that really inspires you. The more you immerse yourself in a new show, the less you'll miss the old one. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you liked it. My name is I, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.